Hey, America, guess what? Godfrey's back, and it's NFL time. We're going to get our grub on. And listen, one more thing. This is a personal note for me. I'm an old fart. That's what my kids tell me all the time. I don't have a favorite football team. I root for the old guys. You know why? The old guys can get it done. So we're going to get our grub on. But first, you see the shirt I'm wearing? This is in tribute to the third all-time great quarterback in NFL history, Kurt Warner. His story is just absolutely amazing. Number one, we all know, Brett Favre. It was a year ago, and it was like a whole new experience for me. It was like deep fryers, plasmas. They had all kinds of electrical cords. They had satellite dishes out there. They had games. They had their tents. They had their easy-ups. It was just totally insane. Guess what? I'm going back for every Cardinal home game there is because it's the closest NFL team to my house. So I've already bought my tickets. I've made my plans. But first, I want to show you a few tailgate things. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of chicken brochette, pretty standard stuff. Beef brochette, pretty standard stuff. Marinade is the key. It's a little tricky. I got it on the recipe. Go to the website, Godfrey. We'll have it up there for you. Next thing we're going to do a chicken taco because everything's a matter of convenience so you can eat and walk around and socialize. It's just so, I just can't believe how cool tailgate parties are. I've been missing out all my life. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to pound out a chicken breast and we're going to fill it with a mushroom duxelle and a chicken mousse. And guess what? It's going to look like a hot dog when we get done with it. We're going to stick it on this thing and we're going to go ahead and walk around and eat on it. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you saw my last show, I said I don't care for these things most of the time. But you can't carry a metal skewer around in your hand because it's just too hot. So these things are going to burn. We're just going to have to deal with it. And that's one of the great things about being outdoors and barbecuing and just getting your grub on. So look it, we're going to get busy right now. I'm going to take these brochettes. We're going to go ahead and throw them up on the grill. And we're just going to go ahead and just cook the heck out of these. Look at that. Look at the colors with the peppers and the meat. The meat's been marinating for about 5 days. Oh, this is going to be just awesome. I'm going to set this down here off to the side. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is going to be a little bit of pico de gallo, and we're going to go ahead and make some guacamole. So the first thing I do, like I always show you, I just slice the pepper down on one side so I can pop it open, flat, take it to the trash can, and just remove the seeds with your thumbnail, just like this. And it's a done deal. There you go. Some of them get stuck up in there, just flip the thing around. Now these you're going to want diced fine because they're going in the pico de gallo. Now the onion. Like I always show you, I just take the heel of the knife underneath one, just go ahead and pull this bad puppy right off. And set it up there. I don't think we're going to need that one, so we'll start with this. Turn it around. Gonna just slice this onion. Keep your hands up on top so you don't cut your fingers off. Just go slow and smooth. See, when I cut this off, normally when you see something on TV or the internet or something like that, that goes into edit. I ain't going into edit, okay? The only way I'm going into edit is if I say an F-bomb, and I ain't saying an F-bomb. Open that up. There we go. Got our trusty little spoon. Scoop it out. You just want to make sure that the top, you don't get the seed in it. Take the spoon in between the skin. Once again, I'm sure most of you have already done this 1,000 times. But you get to do it again with me. Then what I do is I just take the knife and I go like this, pop the seed out. Boom. Sometimes you're going to get a seed that's going to be a tough little nut. Ain't coming out. Squeeze it just a little bit. See how that popped out? I'll deal with this guy in a second. That would go to edit too. I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's taking up an awful lot of time doing this. Well, you know what? You guys are worth it. So I pulled that right out. Take the seed out, put that in there like that. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is just take a little bit of lemon and put it on top. We're going to let that rest right there for a minute. Cilantro. Cilantro. The last thing I always put into this guacamole is the tomato, and I'll show you why. Now I'm going to throw this in the refrigerator just for a brief minute. The tomato. Naturally, you got your core. Take your core. Okay. For those of you who don't know, you slice the back side of it just gently. You're going to throw it in boiling hot water right here. Okay. Actually, let's put it in this bigger one. There we go. Now we're cooking. You only want to do it for about 30 seconds because then that's the way the skin comes off and the meat doesn't get cooked and it doesn't get soft on you. And I take the skin off in my guacamole mix because I don't like it getting stuck in my teeth and all that other stuff. So that'll just take a second. And then when you take it out, we're going to go ahead and throw it into an ice bath. And then we're going to do our marinade of beef. Excuse me for ducking down. I know it's rude, but there it is, right there. I've already made some of these up ahead of time. We're going to take our beef right here. And I use tri-tip. I just broke the tri-tip down into squares because when you start to slice it, you can just go ahead and put them up onto your skewers just like that. No problem. Now, look at, you always cut against the grain. This one, you're not going to cut against the grain. You're going to cut with the grain, all right? So you're going to just cut it just like this. And you want to cut them 1/4 of an inch because the meat's going to shrink. But you want long pieces on the sticks. Again, so you can just walk around, carry them, and eat them. And socialize. Check it out. Start at the bottom, the fat part. Stick it through. Just like a stitch in time saves 9. And then right through the top. Just like that. And then go ahead and pull it down. Over to the grill. Kebabs. Standard equipment. It's SOP for barbecuing. But you just got to love them. Now you don't want these guys on a real high heat. So what I did was got a little bit of heat right there on this side. And that way you can take the stick and put it off on the edge. Everybody tells me, Tracy, just do one meal. Oh, man. You know, I hate doing one meal. One meal's for wimps. So there we go. Now we got some food going on. It's all about food, family, and friends, you guys. Now, look at, tomatoes been in there. Going over here, put it in the ice bath. Now, while these are cooking over here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start pounding out some of the chicken. We're going to put both of them in a Ziploc bag together. We're going to lay them out flat opposite. Thick side there, thick side down here. So that way when I start pounding on them, they'll spread out and they'll do it evenly. And you just Ziploc the bag a little bit, leave a corner open so the air gets out of it, and you pound it gently. We're done with that. Enough noise. Cameraman again, he's looking at me like everything's bouncing off the charts. What are you doing, Godfrey? Well, listen, stick around. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. This is my mousse, okay, with a mushroom duck sill. You guys just got to really try this. This is so awesome. Now we're going to take this out, and we're going to lay this out flat, just like that. You see how it ripped or teared? It's not going to make that big of a difference. Now I got to go over to the grill again because I got to check out what's over there, all right? See that? That's not going to, see that? That's not a big difference at all. It's not anything huge. Now let's go over to the grill. I'm going to check this. And now we're going to go ahead and just flip these guys. Where's my cameraman? I lost my cameraman. You got me? Can you see what I'm doing over here?
Yeah.
Okay, now we got the chicken out and we put it out here. Now I'm going to go to the grill because we need to check these things out, okay? See, look at these. These are kind of like beef jerky on a stick type of a thing. Look at the kebabs. Oh, look at the color on the kebabs. Oh, man. The meat I marinated in a salt brine. All right, so it's going to be really pink inside no matter what temperature I cook it at. And I got that recipe for you. It's up on the website. And you're going to be just fine with that. You can make, here, my dad always taught me, he says, son, you need 3 good things in life outside of a good wife. You need a good doctor, a good mechanic, and you need a good butcher. Make friends with your butcher because he'll treat you right and he'll be able to give you the things that you're going to need, like the bones to make a stock, or scraps, or he'll cut it a special way for you, or whatever. It's important. Make that connection with him. It's all about that relationship. Okay? Now we're cruising. All right, these are going to be good for a few minutes. We're going to come back over here. We're going to stuff this chicken. I'm going to show you how it's done. Come on, Alex. We got my mousse. We're going to put the mousse on there. Now, here's the deal. You don't want to just put 4 inches on this thing. You want to put a really light layer on it and just smooth it out. Get it a little wet if you have to. See how smooth that is once you got it wet? See all this extra? I can just take it right over there. This is such a cool idea. My wife was talking about this the other day to me. She says, why don't you do this? I made her dinner. She goes, why don't you take that chicken mousse and put it on some chicken and put it on a stick for football? And I thought to myself, you know what? You're right on the money there, girl. Now you're going, oh, he dipped it in there where the tomato is. Guess what? Tomato's got a skin. And guess what I'm doing? I told you earlier. I'm taking the skin off. Okay, we got the wind blowing. That really is not a good thing right now. Let's take this mousse. We're going to throw it back in here. I'm going to wrap these things up. And when we get back, I'm going to show you how we're going to blanch them and pull them out and put them on a stick. So stay tuned for part 2.